Another day, another story to make your head explode. Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're returning, welcome back. I truly appreciate your continued support, and I hope that you are subscribed as well, particularly if you are watching on Rumble, because we do need to support platforms that support free speech, and YouTube is not that. So if it is not painfully obvious by now, wokeness has literally taken over everything. It is now the top priority in pretty much every aspect of American life, at least according to a small percentage of the population who just happen to be the loudest and most obnoxious percentage of the population. But these are people that truly believe that activism towards wokeness is far more important in our schools than actually getting an education. It is more important. It is the most important thing to include in entertainment. All of the corporations have to dedicate their business and their products to wokeness and to leftist ideology. It has taken over our medicine and mental health services, and it has even taken over our military. So I'm scrolling through Twitter yesterday, as one does, and just minding my own business. Okay, not really minding my own business, but I see this headline, and it says, Space Force General decries anti-LGBTQ+ laws at Pentagon Pride event, claims they affect hiring decisions. First of all, why does the Pentagon have to hold a Pride event? Like, why does every major, once respected U.S. operations facility need to be turned into a circus in order to celebrate a particular group of people's sexual preferences? Preferences, I might add, that further and further include exposing themselves to little kids and normalizing displays of sexual deviancy and depravity in front of young children. It just absolutely shows what the moral foundation of the current presidency is, or utter lack thereof, because they have no morals at all. They are honestly all Satan worshipers, and I don't use that term lightly. All of them are 100% aligned with the devil, and it's through their actions that we can absolutely see they are carrying out his work. So what does this headline mean? Well, let's listen to what this Space Force General by the name of DeAnna Burt had to say.
Since January of this year, more than 400 anti-LGBTQ+ laws have been introduced at the state level. That number is rising and demonstrates a trend that could be dangerous for service members, their families, and the readiness of the force as a whole. When I look at potential candidates, say for squadron command, I strive to match the right person to the right job. I consider their job performance and relevant experience first. However, I also look at their personal circumstances, and their family is also an important factor. If a good match for a job does not feel safe being themselves and performing at their highest potential at a given location, or if their family could be denied critical health care due to the laws in that state, I am compelled to consider a different candidate and perhaps less qualified. Those barriers are a threat to our readiness, and they have a direct correlation to the resiliency and well-being of our most important operational advantage, our people.
There's a lot to unpack here. So when she's talking about these 400 anti-LGBTQ laws that have been passed at the state level, first, these are not anti-LGBTQ laws, these are child protection laws. Because for some reason, y'all have decided to use the LGB people as a shield to push an ideology that pushes kids into self-loathing and anxiety and depression and confusion until they're so deep in discomfort in their body that you have created that they believe you when you tell them that the relief from this discomfort will come if they take experimental drugs and hormones. Drugs and hormones that they don't know are experimental, but the people prescribing them do, which makes them abusive and predatory. And when the relief doesn't come, because it's not going to come with these drugs, they believe you when you tell them to take it a step further, to chop off their reproductive organs and anatomy, and that this is going to help them achieve the happiness that they've been trying to achieve the whole time, which ultimately could have been achieved had you left their bodies alone and taught them to love the body that they were born in the first place. Anyway, and then she goes on to say they consider the job performance and relevant experience first. However, they have to look at their personal circumstances, and their family is an important factor. So when she says that they're looking at their personal circumstances and that family is an important factor, does that mean Does she look at who they voted for? If they're a Christian, what their religious practices are? And does she just assume that because they vote or believe a certain way that this automatically makes that person dangerous to someone else? Because if you put a left-wing activist on the same squad as a Christian, who do you honestly think is going to be a danger to who? Because I know, based on the actions happening, playing out in society today, every single day consistently, I think I would know who would start a problem and start a conflict. But you're obviously not ready to have that conversation. She goes on to talk about whether or not if the job isn't going to feel safe, if they can't, this person can't be who they are, they're going to be denied healthcare, then perhaps she's compelled to consider a different candidate. The critical healthcare she's referring to are these genital mutilating surgeries, because no one is banning tumor removals or thyroid treatments or insulin pumps or appendectomies or heart surgeries or colonoscopies. She's talking about the surgeries where kids are going in to have double mastectomies or hysterectomies or phalloplasties or vaginoplasties. That is what she's talking about. So if she's looking at an array of candidates to be considered for promotions, so meaning these higher positions that require experience and proven leadership, among other things, if they come from a state that has said you cannot remove the reproductive organs of a minor or give them drugs that will permanently damage their body and cause lifelong medical complications, then she would rather give that position to someone less qualified, putting the entire squad in danger and, depending on that position, potentially putting the entire country in danger, which is unfreaking believable. And when she goes on to say those barriers are a threat to our readiness and they have a direct correlation to the resiliency and the well-being of our most operational advantage, our people, this is where she ends the whole thing with gaslighting. She's blaming her utter stupidity on governors like Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott and Bill Lee and Sarah Sanders, just to name a few. She's saying that if she puts all of these military offers in danger by putting unqualified people in charge, it's not her fault. It's the fault of the governors who pass laws that she doesn't agree with. So if your son or daughter in the military is put in danger, or heaven forbid, dies while serving our country because of inadequate leadership, she's saying you can blame a Republican governor because of it. She is willing to punish the officers serving under her. She's willing to punish the entire country because of what she believes politically. And that's how insane all of this is. That's how insane all of these people are. This is a cult. I do have a couple of questions though. First, what do these officers that she's considering have to do with these anti-child mutilation bills? They're not in Congress. They're not in the Capitol building speaking to these bills. They're not making these decisions. They just happen to live in that state. And they're willing to pursue one of the most honorable careers known to man by serving and protecting their own country. Yet she's labeling them as questionable and dangerous because of the state that they live in. Like, this woman is unhinged, and her mental fitness for her position in the military needs to be evaluated. Secondly, speaking of being a danger to the military, what do you think the future of the military is going to look like when the next generation is so mentally crippled and psychologically defeated that they can't even function? And they're all living on government welfare programs because the only thing you've ever told them that mattered about who they are is where they fall in the alphabet identity spectrum. What are recruitment numbers going to look like in the future when you have a mass group of young people who started their lives out perfectly healthy, but because of this experimental and devastating medical procedures that she supports, turned them into lifelong medical patients? Like, the military won't even accept you if you've got a flat foot issue. So does she really think that anybody in the future is going to be able to perform at the needed physical and mental capacity that is required to serve in basic military service, let alone any of these higher positions, if they've got early onset osteoporosis from taking puberty blockers, or chronic infections from removing or attaching things to their bodies that their body constantly treats like a wound and is constantly trying to close up, or brittle bones and weak lungs from hormone injections or prolonged use of binding and tucking body wear? They're not even going to be able to find people to clean the bathrooms on these military bases, let alone actually serve and defend the US. And that is going to lay at the feet of people like this and everyone who behaves in this way, no matter how many ways she tries to blame others. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Are you as infuriated by this stupidity as I am, because this is just absolutely unbelievable. Hit that like button because even the likes help my videos in the algorithm. Share it with someone who you think might be interested. If you feel so inclined, hit the thanks button and donate to the channel in that way. If that button is not working, there are other ways to support the channel in the comment section below, in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.